The leaks have come out. Dressing room arguments at Manchester United. Players falling out, having a go at each other. Sancho not training with the squad. How dare Eric Ten Hag sign Amrabat? The board didn't think Eric Ten Hag should sign Amrabat. The board are annoyed that Eric Ten Hag is using his agent to do this, and that. It is that time where a few bad results happen for United and they put out all these leaks, all these lies, all these reports. Do not fall for it, people. Every single time we have a manager and we get a few bad results, all of a sudden leaks come out, briefings come out to try and paint the manager in a negative picture, to try and make out that there is dressing room issues, there is dressing room problems. It is what they do every single time. Manchester United do this whenever they're planning Operation Sack a Manager. The title of this video is going to be Man United planning on sacking Ten Hag already, because this is exactly what they do, exactly what they put out, the exact reports they put out when they start planning Operation Let's Sack a Manager. 5 or 6 bad results come our way. Then we start putting leaks out that the manager wanted to sign this player and the board didn't. Then we start putting leaks out that the dressing room's uneasy. There's a problem in the dressing room. And then if results continue to go bad, there will be more and more leaks coming out against Ten Hag. Pro board. The board's done this against Ten Hag. And then they sack Ten Hag. They do this every single time, people. Do not fall for it. Do not fall for it. Do not turn on the manager. They want you to turn on the manager. Those high up want to get you to turn on the manager, because when results go bad, the smart fans go, well, you know what? We could, sacking the manager's not going to change anything when we keep those above the manager. Recruitment, board, owners, they need to go more than the manager. The smart fans are like, well, there's no point sacking another manager because nothing's going to change unless we change the people above the manager. The rational, emotional fans, which I don't blame you guys, because we all go there, they just want the manager out. And, the thing about having bad results is it puts pressure on the board. There's pressure on the club, there's pressure on the board because we've had a few bad results. So they want to twist those bad results and put that pressure on Ten Hag instead. They want fans to turn on Ten Hag instead. So I'm going to get into the leaks, the reports coming out, and why I think it's disgraceful. And they do this, it's the Operation Sack a Manager. I'm not saying that Ten Hag is going to be sacked, but it's what Manchester United do. As soon as we get a few bad results, they start the PR, the media, the leaks, the lies, trying to turn fans against the manager. It's Operation Sack a Manager. So we're going to get into the leaks. The first leak said that Bruno Fernandes confronted Scott McTominay after Saturday's defeat to Brighton, and that Martinez and Lindelof also lost at each other. Reports coming out that Bruno Fernandes basically screamed at McTominay and said he was rubbish, and that Lisandro Martinez and Victor Lindelof had a big fallout of each other because they defended badly. Who cares? People don't realise this isn't a big deal. This happens in football clubs all the time. The amount of times Man City won the treble, the amount of times, we've seen videos of one of their players shouting at another one of those players. They demand high standards from each other. Bruno Fernandes is the captain. Breaking. Bruno, the captain, shouts at Scott McTominay because he didn't perform well enough. Breaking. Lisandro Martinez and Victor Lindelof lose it with each other. It's an argument over the emotion of the game. They're trying to make out that there's these big bust-up fights and everything's on edge. And, the fact that Sancho's left shows that the dressing room's on edge and Ten Hag's losing the dressing room, Ten Hag's losing the power. No, it's generally quite normal for players to argue after a defeat. The amount of times we've heard stories about Lisandro Martinez shouting at players after the 7-0 Liverpool loss, after this result, after that result. But that wasn't the story that really wound me up today. The story that really wound me up today was this. The Manchester United recruitment team don't think Amrabat will succeed in England. He is an Eric Ten Hag target. The fact that this is allowed to be leaked, the fact that they're letting this be leaked, is a disgrace. It's a disgrace. Well, do you know what my first thought is? Get a director of football then. Get a director of football then. You won't have this problem if you get a director of football then. Why haven't you got a director of football? Why did you get rid of Ralph Rangnick? Why haven't you got anyone in the club capable of picking out top signings? If you don't rate Amrabat, then if you had a proper director of football, they would have maybe got a midfielder for Ten Hag. That was better. And do you know what? Can you blame Eric Ten Hag for going for Amrabat? Absolutely not. The recruitment team picked out 2 of our 4 signings, and that was Højlund and Mount. The other 2, Amrabat and Onana, were picked out solely by Ten Hag. So if things go wrong, they'll say, look, I told you, Amrabat and Onana, they were Ten Hag signings. Us board wouldn't have signed them. If something goes wrong with Amrabat, something goes wrong with Onana, the board are ready to say that's on Ten Hag because they only picked out Højlund and Mount. And it's a disgrace because you know what? Amrabat, okay, maybe the board didn't think he's the right player. Maybe he's not capable of playing in the Premier League. But you know what? If we actually had proper scout sporting director, we wouldn't be in this predicament. And maybe Ten Hag, trusts himself more than the board when it comes to signing players, when Manchester United have a reputation of overspending, buying bang average players, and actually buying players that don't suit the manager's philosophy, then wondering why it doesn't work. Every single manager, it's rinse and repeat. We spend a couple $100 million on the manager, we buy them old players that are expensive, that don't 100% suit their style. Those players don't flop, or they age and they have one good season, then they decline. And then we buy the manager his B and C options. Maybe Erik Ten Hag's like, you know what? I don't want this club to go out and sign Rabiot. I want Amrabat. And you know what? I don't blame Ten Hag. And I think that story really wound me up. The fact that they're even leaking information that they don't back Erik Ten Hag signing, for me, that is an absolute disgrace. It's the game. It's the operation. We've got to try turn some fans on Ten Hag in case we have to sack him. They're doing an operation sack Ten Hag starting process. I'm not saying Ten Hag's going to be sacked. He can easily turn results around. But they always put out leaks and these negative stories to turn fans against the manager whenever results go bad, to try and get fans to direct any toxic behaviour towards the manager and not the owners. Now, Fabrizio Romano, who doesn't do leaks, who does honesty and tells you what actually is going on, disagree with these leaks. And this is the most important thing. Fabrizio Romano will tell you the truth. And Fabrizio Romano says the feeling among people close to the club is that Erik Ten Hag's not the problem. Extra sporting matters, injuries in the sale process are what pose problems for day-to-day work. Interesting. So the board are briefing their media teams that, you know, Ten Hag this, Ten Hag that. And we're going to get into one of the briefs about Ten Hag and his agency, which is a joke. The board are briefing their media teams that this was a Ten Hag signing and Ten Hag is losing their dressing room and stuff. But actually, what's actually going on in United is actually the players are annoyed with, and the staff are annoyed with this takeover process going on. They're saying the injury and the uncertainty around the takeover process and a few extra sporting matters is what's causing the issue. Romano says basically what's really causing the issue, because Romano sources that staff, agents and players at United, is not Ten Hag. It's not this, it's not that. It's actually that they're fed up with those above them. And it's mad because those above them will be leaking stuff to turn everyone on Ten Hag. But in reality, those players aren't angry at Ten Hag. Those players are annoyed. Those staff are annoyed because of the uncertainty of the takeover, which is caused by those higher up. Fabrizio Romano also said that Erik Ten Hag remains 100% committed to the Man United project, and he believes he has been unlucky and that the club are completely backing him in the process. So again, Romano says that Erik Ten Hag just believes so far he's been unlucky with injuries. He's 100% committed to United. I think Erik Ten Hag has belief that he will turn it around, considering we've already had 15 players unavailable this season. It's crazy compared to everybody else. I think we have been unlucky. And Romano said the takeover uncertainty is creating issues for the squad. The interesting thing is Romano saying, this takeover is causing issues for the squad, not Ten Hag as well. But do you know what? I'm glad that we have people like Romano that don't do the club PR, the club media briefs. They put out information that the club want us to put out. Because I think I hate what Man United do. Every time we have a manager that has 4 or 5 bad results and, it's not quite going their way, they always let the leaks come out. They always try and put out information to turn people against the manager. And you just got to not believe it. It was said, by the way, people today from Matt Hughes, and this was the report I wanted to get into, that concerns have been raised with the club over increasing involvement in Erik Ten Hag's agent, Key Ross, in the club's transfer activities. And basically, this whole report has come out that United are concerned about Erik Ten Hag's agent, blah this, blah that. I'll tell you this now. Erik Ten Hag's son works as an analyst there. Pep Guardiola's brother is also represented by the same agency, SEG. It's not normal. It's normal. It's normal. Basically, Man United are putting out reports that basically Erik Ten Hag's agent seems to have a big say in Højlund transfer, this transfer, that transfer. They don't know why Erik Ten Hag's agent's having a big say in transfers, but it's normal. Like it's normal. Why are they putting out this report that oh my god, Erik Ten Hag's agent is now doing this and that? The club are concerned with Erik Ten Hag's agent's involvement in the club. The Erik Ten Hag agent that got the Højlund deal over the line. Do you know what I mean? That got the deals over the line. It was said that Kivos Sports, so the SEG agency, have become the go-to agency in negotiating player signings and sales for United, as well as providing informal advice on the transfer market. Ten Hag's son Nigel also works at the agency as an analyst. And they're trying to put out this report that, Ten Hag keeps getting his agency to do everything. It's going to annoy other agencies. It's weird. Pep Guardiola gets the same agency to do a lot of things. It is normal in football. I felt like this was the most nothing report that came out ever, because Matt Hughes actually said that actually at the end of this report that it's not unusual for top clubs to have strong links with particular agencies due to personal relationships formed by their key personnel, which often brings them advantages in the transfer market. So Matt Hughes, who wrote the story, said that this is a common thing in football with top clubs having a great connection to one particular agency because it can bring them advantages in the transfer market. But I feel like United were trying to, say, oh, we're concerned about this, we're concerned about that. So far today, we've had stories of a dressing room leak and fight coming out, which shouldn't be coming out. There probably was a dressing room leak. There probably was a dressing room fight, but that's particularly normal. But that information shouldn't be getting leaked in the first place. It's obviously someone's deliberately leaked it to try and cause an issue. Then we get the leaks coming out that this player wasn't a board signing. Eric Ten Hag wanted this player. The recruitment team didn't want this player. And now we're getting leaks that Man United aren't happy with Ten Hag's agency. It is Operation slowly try and basically turn people on Ten Hag, and it just exposes the club for being toxic. Everybody knows that you can turn on the manager, but we are not going to be a top club until those above the manager goes. And I refuse to turn on Ten Hag. I refuse to. I am Glazers out. I am bored out. And everybody above Ten Hag out. Smash a like, smash a subscribe. Back later.